Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zarim, Tovim, and Laila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Carrie. I hope this message is going to find you well, no matter where you are at in the world. I wanted to speak from my heart today on the word evil, and then discuss the call that's on our lives as to where we are in the message that's going forward, because both of these things are connected. And you will see as I take us through this. This might be a lengthy discussion, but I think that you will have some good revelation that comes to you, because it certainly did for me when I was meditating on these things. I want to discuss what the etymology of the word evil is. This really stemmed from a conversation I was seeing on Facebook when somebody was wanting to know where that word came from and the origin, so I decided to look up the etymology. And some of these words I'm not going to be able to pronounce because they are from other languages, but I think you'll be able to see where this is coming from. So originally, it's an Old English word that means bad, vicious, ill, and wicked. And from Proto-Germanic, which means bad and evil. In older and other Germanic languages, other than Scandinavian, this word is an expression of disapproval, dislike, or disparagement. Evil was the word that the Anglo-Saxons used, where we could use bad, cruel, unskillful, defective as an adjective, or harm, crime, misfortune, and disease. And in Middle English, bad took the wider range of the senses of evil, began to focus on moral badness. Both words have good as their opposite. The adverb is Old English, originally of words or speech, and it's a noun also in Old English. What means is bad, sin, wickedness, anything that causes injury, morally or physically, especially of a malady or disease from the 12th century. The meaning extreme moral wickedness was one of the senses of the Old English noun, but it did not become established as the main sense of the modern word until the 18th century. So in looking at this, the Hebrew word for evil is the letters resh ayin, which would be pronounced as ra. And the ayin is a little bit different in its sound than the aleph, because it's more as a back in the throat. So if you didn't have a way of being able to pronounce these correctly, you could confuse it with the other Hebrew word ra, which means to see. So this Hebrew word evil, in its definition, means bad, worthless, evil, and wicked. But the same word with the same exact spelling means harm, misfortune, and calamity. But it also possesses the meaning of a friend, companion, an associate, fellow man, thought, purpose, aim, noise, and shout. And when the Hebrew letter hey is added onto the suffix, which makes it feminine, it has these meanings: to pasture, tend, graze, as well as lead a flock as a shepherd, directed, guided, and ruled. Furthermore, it has the additional meanings to keep company with, to think, to have the intention, strive, to break, to crush, evil, wickedness, distress, misery, injury, harm, wrong, friend, and companion. So this word is a perfect example of duality. We have the potential for both. When we look at the individual letters in the formation of the word itself, as every letter in Hebrew and Aramaic has its own meanings to them, unlike English where A is just an A, Aleph in the Hebrew language has many more meanings than just as the first letter. But that's for a teaching on another day. So when looking at the individual letters, their hidden esoteric meanings, we have this: those who were once poor and destitute, who are raised up to rule and lead, who see and know their intended purpose, as power has been given them to overcome their fallen flesh nature, but they must cross over the threshold threshold of the covenant of promise in order to lead in the covenant that exempts them from judgment. Interesting. This word really is about leadership. The letter Resh, the first letter of this word, has the hidden meaning through the constituent letters that form this symbol of meaning head of fire. Every leader has a purpose and aim. Their polarization makes the difference. Dependent upon whether your purpose and aim is to serve others or to serve yourself, a leader can be a companion and friend that is meant to help guide and direct, leading you to pastures that will nourish you, or they can bring about misery, distress, harm, misfortune, calamity, and injury as to crush and to break you. Two sides of the same coin for leadership. This also applies to pastors that are shepherding a flock. What are they teaching you? Fire is upon their and leaders' heads. It will either consume their beast nature, pride, or it will cleanse them of it, producing humility and meekness. Ultimately, this word applies to all of us, as we all lead to one degree or another. The difference is the size of our circle of influence. If you are a parent, you lead. So seek that which is your purpose and aim, and think about what you desire, as both potentials lie within you. You are the tree of good and evil, the seraphic message, so choose. Through lifetimes of experiencing on both sides of the pole, when you can actually see that this is the same exact thing, leadership, you can render this clear as potential without having any distortions, which is potential energy as a frequency without having it become kinetic through action. This is the place of zero point as a creator, the narrow path that few find. This is the intended destination of the school of divinity, where we are rising up out of hell, as hell is really the English word from the Hebrew, Sheol, meaning the place of inquiring and seeking answers, as having become a head of fire, seraphim from cherubim, trained up in the seraphic message, as mistranslated as serpent message, given to mankind for the sake of experience in our school of divinity as Elohim. The truth is that English has hidden and watered down much, and we have been given a form of godliness, but it denies the power of a truly changed life. And because we have been given these words, like evil, without having the true instruction of what they really mean, because we have been told what to believe that they are, we haven't been fully manifested as who we were intended to be. We've actually been placed in slavery. Even the word angel has been projected upon us as something different than the original meaning. And it's important to bring this word, angel, into our scope of discussion here. The word angel in Hebrew is malak, and it is the word king and queen that has an added aleph placed within the root. The root of a Hebrew word or Aramaic word is the place of source, creator, you. So the addition of the letter aleph within the root itself, the aleph means strength, leader, chief, first, beginning, and sovereign. It is also connected to the word spirit. The definition of this word means to dispatch as a deputy, a messenger, specifically of God. Included as an example is an angel, but it also means a prophet, priest, or teacher, an ambassador. And one of the meanings that is hidden within here through the spelling of the word means to be filled up with power through the word. What I am sharing with you, and why I brought in this word angel, is a concept called angel morphology. Qumran taught this to the whole community, men, women, and children. You have heard of them as the Essenes, but that was also shared with you to make you think that it was only a community of men. Essene is the Hebrew word meaning breastplate. There's much that can be shared on this regarding the 12 stones and the 12 frequencies that the Qumran community understood as connected to angel morphology. But back to our discussion. Angel morphology is man becoming angels. But we've had this message distorted through the alpha language, English, alpha, bet. The alpha language was created that was meant to rule over us and keep the truth obfuscated from us, distorting it and watering it down, and then saying that English is the authoritative word of the sacred writings. And truth be known, English is an amalgamation from many different languages. So in reality, it is a language of confusion, of battle. In angel morphology, in this process, we first must become teachable, which is one who has a humble heart. And second, we must realize that we are of royalty, which keeps us humble. Then, we really and truly need to grasp the fact that we are one. This would be gnosis and da'at, knowing. Da'at is the Hebrew word for intimate knowledge of the hidden which is revealed. The I am as fractals of source. When we have this knowledge within, and it becomes intimate knowledge as a part of you, and you will know that you have had it because you become changed, then this is the given, granted authority as messengers, as angels who are prophets, teachers, priests, and priestesses, who are ambassadors. And this is why it is imperative that we know what the word evil truly is, so that we can displace the lies with the truth that'll raise us up in our consciousness in order to lead properly. Let me bring in the day of Pentecost. Tongues of fire came upon their heads. This is really an explanation of the Hebrew letter resh, which is literally head of fire. They were given authority to speak, tongue, speak and lead as seraphic messengers in order to teach the way of one, as this was the sign of graduation. They were going to be held to a standard, as they had already been tested to see how they would lead, as being void of ego. The fire on their head was the authority that would continue to burn as a check and balance, burning up ego to lift you, ascension, or using it to consume you, self, as against you. Self, ish, fire. Ish is the Hebrew word for fire, self-fire, until all that remains is nothing. But for those who welcome the power of the fire upon their head, from the seraphic message, becoming seraphim, it will actually lead self to nothing, where everything is. Source, 0 point. May you be baptized with fire upon your head. Graduation day, as the teaching shepherds who go forth with the seraphic message as burning ones, teaching the way of one in the time of the revealing, the apocalypse. Let me lead you with this. Psalm 8:5 says, "You made him a little lower than the angels. You crowned him with glory and honor." The word angels in this verse is actually the Hebrew word Elohim, but they translated it as angel instead. And in Psalm 82:6, it reads, "I have said, ye gods, and all of you, children of the Most High." Gods in this verse is the Hebrew word for Elohim. And the phrase children of the Most High is actually, should have been translated as the children of ascension. And in Genesis 1:1, we have, in the beginning God created the heavens and earth. God, in this verse, is the Hebrew word for Elohim. So may you be baptized, again, stressing this, with tongues of fire upon your head during the time of the revealing, the apocalypse, so as to lead and teach the way of one, to the multitude that are in hell seeking answers. Our hope and expectancy is to empty out hell. The great exodus, by giving and being the answer so all will know who they are. This is the changing and flipping of the authoritative powers that will rule and reign in the right measure of Ra. The rulers of this world have fire upon their heads, and it will consume them. We will rise up in their ashes as those who will lead by truly serving others, because within our hearts we found the way of one, the revival of the early teachers that followed the teachings of Yeshua. This is how we can honor him, by becoming this message. Selah. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.